Alrighty. So, in the continuing of space trucking, we are headed from Minmatar space up to Jita. I have got a full load here. I am just under the max cargo I can carry, but it pays more than $1 million per jump, and it wasn't too expensive on the collateral, so I took it. And so I have no chance of really picking up an extra thing to come along with me, you know, make it like 2 items going on the trip. So that is something that some people do, though. Like, you can sit at Jita and plan to go to Amar. And so you can sit there for a few hours watching for stuff that pays pretty good, that's low collateral, low amount of space. And so it doesn't even have to pay like $1 million per jump. It could pay like $500,000 per jump going to Amar. But if it only takes up 10,000 cubic meters, and let's say they only want 200 million for the collateral, then at 500,000 you accept that one, put it in your cargo hold, measure how much space you've got left and how much more value you're willing to take, and pick up a couple more like those. And next thing you know, you are making 2.5-3 million per jump going between Jita and Amar. And then you can just sit down in Amar and do the same thing on your way back. Sit there for a few hours. Now, could you have made that much if you were flying the whole time? Maybe, but it's less work and allows you to kind of cherry pick things a little bit better. DoorDash hauler. Yeah, I've never done DoorDash before. I can tell you my experience with real life DoorDash haulers is that whatever service that like Walmart uses, I have bought things a couple of times on Walmart online to be shipped. And then Walmart will send me a text saying, it's going to arrive within an hour. And I'm like, but I only ordered it an hour ago. Well, it's because they decided that instead of shipping it, they were going to have somebody go pick it up at the local Walmart and deliver it to me. And it's been really hit and miss on that. You know, I've just had a few times where I don't know, you know, there was no professionalism. That's what it is. There's no professionalism. What's the max ISK I'll carry? 1.5 billion. Tanker, there's a lot of sexual references for Barbarian as well. Well, I guess that's why we can't make a picture of a Barbarian. Or the AI is just getting confused, and where we want a Barbarian fully clothed and with armor on and a nice weapon, we don't want him unclothed showing a nice weapon. That Barbarian one wasn't going to work. Are you going to get to warp yet? My God. Do I need to get out and push? Did I ever tell you about the time when I was driving bus and I had to get my passengers out to push? It's true.
Welcome to the Dragons.
Same Kook just followed.
Same Kook. Thank you for the follow. Welcome. I was driving city bus. This is many years ago. It's one of the first jobs I had, and it was a good job. I got Bearden, thank you for the follow. I got you know, a really good job right when I turned 21. I actually got hired before I was 21 to drive city bus, and I went through their training and everything, and they hired me before I was 21, because you had to be 21 to drive city bus, but they hired me before I was 21 because you just had to be 21 to drive on your own, but in training you could be younger. And so my birthday was happening, right before the I would have graduated training. And so anyway, I was pretty young. And I was driving city bus, and my bus stalled on me on a bridge. It was on a hill, and it stalled. And then I tried to restart it, and it turned out it was something interesting, that it wouldn't restart while you were moving. You had to stop, and I didn't know that. And the buses, next time you're on a city bus, you can ask the bus driver this. The buses don't have keys. There's no keys to them. You just turn them to the right position and on the controls, and then you hit a button which injects air. It's an air start, and it uses pressurized air, which is also used for the brakes, to turn the motor over to start it. Well, apparently this particular type of bus or whatnot, if you were still rolling and you hit the air, it wouldn't actually try and engage the engine, and it wouldn't work. So you'd basically have 2.5 tries to get the engine started. So you'd have 2 strong tries and then a weak one. And so if you used all 3 of those tries, you were not getting the engine started. You'd have to have somebody come out, which one of the maintenance guys come out, and fill your air tank so that they could try and start it again. And so anyway, while I'm rolling down this bridge, overpass, I'm trying to restart it. 3rd time doesn't work. So I'm like, okay, well, I want to get off the bridge. And at the foot of the bridge, there was railroad tracks, and then it goes downhill some more to a light. And I figured I would coast all the way down to the intersection. It looked to me to be like the safest place to be pulled over or whatnot. So as I'm just cruising down the hill, and then we hit those train tracks, and then it's supposed to go like this down further, I didn't have enough momentum, and I didn't make it across the railroad tracks. So there I was, stuck on the railroad tracks. I couldn't get it started because I had no more air. So I called into dispatch in an emergency. I hit the emergency button, and I'm like, you got to stop the trains because I don't want the bus to get hit. I'm on train tracks. And they said, well, since you're on train tracks, we're going to take a little bit different approach to this. And I'm thinking, I don't know what's going to happen. And he says, do you have passengers? And I'm like, yes. He says, ask them to get out and push. And I'm like, what? He's like, no kidding. Ask them to get out and push. Okay. So I did. I asked them to get out and push, and there's probably 10 people that got out and pushed the bus off of the railroad tracks. So we were all like, yay for them. As they were pushing, a 3-car pileup happened across, going the other direction at the railroad tracks. A 3-car pileup of people rubbernecking these people pushing a bus. And so then they had a crash right there. And anyway, then they stopped the trains, I guess. There was no trains that came by. And maintenance came out. They filled up my air tank again. It started just fine. And we went on our merry way. But, yeah, that was the one time where stalled the bus on train tracks. So, blame Markee. Hey, Dan. Yeah. Blame me. Blame air start more like it? Yeah. Air start's finicky. But, you know, those buses are always well maintained and everything, so it's not usually a problem. What would happen though is like in the bus parking lot, where we would park the buses at night, and you go out there early in the morning to get a bus, and if any of them had an air leak, then it wouldn't start. And then since they parked like 8 buses in a row, one behind the other, almost bumper to bumper, if the first one wouldn't start, all the rest would be stuck, except for the very last one, which could back out and go. But then we'd have to go back in and get assigned a different bus because we couldn't get out. Yeah, bump start. Yeah, so buses won't bump start. They're all automatic. So, and the gears are like, well, at least the ones that I drove, the gears were all electronic. So, there was no putting it into gear or anything. Well, some old airplanes started with compressed air. All right. Yeah, because if you can start with compressed air, and then maybe an air pump for an air tank would be less weight than a starter, or maybe you just wouldn't be able to restart it if it went out while you were flying. Oh, that would be a weight saving feature. Refills itself in flight? Yeah, okay. It would have to create pressure, so there'd have to be a pump and a tank. But if that was lighter than a starter, then that could be, because every bit of weight would matter in a plane. Propeller rotations as the compressor. Interesting.
Welcome to the Dragons.
Revin just followed.
Reven, thank you for the follow. Welcome. Doing some hauling? Yes. Doing some hauling. Got, I'm getting paid to fly my obelisk. Right, so I got about 10 more jumps. It's been a profitable day, I guess. Let's see, we've been doing this about 6 hours, and with a single hauler. I was thinking about that maybe it's time for me to fire up some more hauler accounts and do, like, you know, multiple at once and see how much we can make in a day, because I've made $1 billion in a day hauling before. And let's see here. So reward 25, so it's 49, 69. $94, $134. So I made 134. I guess that's not very much, really. I mean, but we've had a good time doing it. If you are able to do hauling and do it as kind of a secondary thing, like you might be doing something else with another character on another account at the same time, then it's easy money. As long as you're not going over the limits of, you know, what would make you a good gank target. And we're coming up on Udema, which Udema is the only point that would be iffy in this. I'm carrying about 900 million. So it's nowhere. My limit's like 1.5 billion before I start taking extra precautions or whatever. So I think it's pretty fine. Yeah, so my rule is always brick tanked in an obelisk. 1.5 billion is the max if you're going through any pinch points. If you're not going through any pinch points or any hostile areas, then 2 billion is not out of the question. But going through Udema, 1.5. And now, can you get through with more? Obviously you can. But the thought behind that is that you don't make yourself a target and you don't get shot. Simple as that. Just don't make yourself a target and you won't be shot. So what do I think about the Avalanche? So here's what I think. I think that the Avalanche, if we can achieve more EHP than the obelisk here, which is 686,000, if we can achieve 700,000 or more EHP on it, then it could be a suggested hauler in high sec, but its cargo bay is going to be smaller than this. I think it's what does it come out to? About 250,000 380,000, where this is 386,000. And I'm just pulling numbers off the top of my head. I don't know exactly what it is when it's brick tanked. So it depends on how much EHP it can get. If it can get comparable to this and use the propulsion trick, then it becomes something to look at. But it doesn't have as much cargo space as this. And so you would be limited on the size of the cargo you could take. So you'd have some that you'd just have to pass up. Now, if you're hauling reagents or infrastructure within HiSec, well then, it's got that giant 3 million cubic meter bay in it that could make it advantageous. And the reagents tend to be large size, low value. So, it could be fine. And the propulsion trick on it, I did see CCP say that if you get the right prop and you get a good abyssal roll, that you potentially could get it to warp in one cycle of propulsion, which would be 7.5 to 10 seconds, depending on whichever kind of propulsion they used. But you can definitely get it to warp in 2 cycles of propulsion, which means 15 to 20 seconds, which is way faster than these. But I still recommend brick tank, because even at 7.5 seconds, you can still get caught. And because the gankers, they scram you. That's what they do. They go right at you and they scram you. And so there'll be a fast tackle with scram. And they'll scram you while the rest of the fleet comes in and then pummels you. So it's still, in my opinion, all comes down to the EHP in HiSec. Now in nullsec, I think the Avalanche is going to become the king of freighters in nullsec. And so I think that that it's going to do very well there and be very fitting. And in nullsec, you want speed, and then the defense, because in HiSec, so what if the Avalanche has all of these missiles that can auto fire and take people out who are attacking you? So you kill 2 of those 30 catalysts that just took your ship out. So what? So what do? They just throw in an extra couple of catalysts while they're ganking you. And that's a problem, because then they're applying, I'm getting scanned, because then they are applying, it's this Heron right here. See, he's moving at 0. It's the Heron who scanned me. So then if they're putting extra ships at you to kill you because they're worried about those auto missiles they're going to fire reducing their DPS, the answer is that that's a problem, because then they potentially have more DPS hitting you, and they are going to then potentially take you out even if you have implants in to boost your EHP. And so you don't necessarily want that. So the Avalanche, I know that we can bring it up and we can fit it up, virtually and stuff. Next week, there should be some Avalanches out there. We can do another ganked episode next week, and we can see if there's any Avalanches that have been killed and go over their fits and stuff. I think that people are going to be dumb with them, and they're going to try and speed tank them, and they're going to do it wrong. They're gonna put inertia stabilizers in the lows, and to try and get going faster when they could just roll an abyssal propulsion and do it that way. This is a common thing that we see with people who are ganked, that they're trying to speed fit a freighter. It's the wrong answer. You don't speed fit a freighter. You tank it. And so, that's just my opinion. Oh, we got a lot of people in here. Whee! Look at all that red.
Drive
Well,
active.
if they're not already here for me, they're not coming for me. So, and I do take a little bit to get to warp. What am I taking to get to warp? 46 seconds, almost 47. How common are freighters in null? They're actually, I see them all the time in null, but they fly them in a different way. They don't fly freighters gate to gate. They use an avatar to bridge them. And so, or they'll use a Titan to bridge them. And so they'll get, 3 to 10 freighters all together, and they will bridge them over to a Sino at their destination or halfway in between their destination and then jump them again with another Titan. So that's how they're used out there. It's very, very rare to see one going through a gate. Although in the middle of horde space, I have seen it before. I would assume that they're using a scout or something because they're going to look awful tasty to any hostiles in there. A jump freighter with no jump drive? Yeah, well, also a lot cheaper. So the jump freighters can't get nearly as much cargo space in them. So expanded out, a jump freighter is what, just below 500,000, I think? Or at least the Answer is. It's been a while since I've flown a jump freighter, so I honestly don't 100% remember. But yeah, so it's been a while. All right, well, we made it through Udema just fine.
Warp drive active.
You just passed me? Oh, okay. Well. Never heard this song in a while. His High Roller from Pegboard Nerds. I have a video that uses this song that we shot at a barber shop.
I'm still a high roller. I don't be Naked women, glow sticks and shots. Naked women, glow sticks and shots. Shots, 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 shots. Now if I ever lose focus, know my heart's been always in it. That's why groupies always notice. Either way you try to spin it. Fuck opinionated critics. See how I roll. Till the two of us drive and take the expressway zone. Cause when you're crossing city limits, while nights can take a toll, I don't really know my limits. I think it's something you should know. Only time I feel alive is when those stage lights shine. There's passion mixed with patience, dedication on the grind. Medicated all the time, but I'm quick to switch my style up just to fuck with the people that said we couldn't make it, to watch them get robbed up. And to everyone behind us, here's a petition. You should sign it to eliminate the haters and the soul of their vagina. I don't need a dime, bitch, I'm still a high roller. I don't be black. 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 I don't need a dime, bitch, I'm still a high roller. I'm still a high roller.
We're going into even higher security space. Looks like this one's pretty much going to be a successful delivery. Not getting a barbershop vibes from the song. Yeah, it was a play on Breaking Bad. And I turned into Walter White in the barbershop. So that's how it worked.
I don't need a dime, bitch, I'm still a high roller.
It was quite a while ago. It was during the last season of Breaking Bad, so that's how long ago it was. Guess there's a lot of cussing in this one, huh? Been a long time since I heard that song. So
Welcome to the Dragons.
Riku just followed.
Curry, thank you for the follow. Welcome. Looking at who else is streaming right now. So this will probably be the last trip that I do. I've been doing a show for almost 7 hours. It's been a good day. Almost got shot at. Actually, somebody got ganked right next to me as I was going through a gate. That there was, I don't know, 20 catalysts or something that flew in and started shooting whatever the ship was right next to me as we went through the gate. So I didn't really almost get shot. I just almost got to see somebody blow up.
Welcome to the Dragons.
Yorkshire Sipper just followed.
Yorkshire, thank you for the follow. Welcome.
Welcome to the Dragons.
Lucius L1 just followed.
Lucius and Gothmore, thank you for the follows.
Welcome to the Dragons.
Gothmore82 just followed.
Just had a good day doing some hauling. Yorkshire, thanks for the vids. You just returned to the game after 12 years. Woohoo! Welcome back. 12 years, man. That's a long time away. But none of us ever quit playing. We just take vacations. Right?
Welcome to the Dragons.
X0Fs just followed.
So is it Zops? I don't know how to pronounce it, but there you go. All right. Final time of our space trucking song today. Jet Big Rig McKenna. Suddenly Raiders. Yeah.
He tunes to the chatter of you, damn a scout. Warning about gankers lying in wait.
adjusts his course through the Stargate, a space cowboy with a deadline to make. He's riding high in the cosmic eagle through the galaxy, so vast and wide, with a heart of gold and nerves of steel. Jed's making his run with the scout at the next gate.
All right, here we go.
Space docks hum like a honky-tonk night, where capsuleers spin their tails so bold. But Jed's got his eyes on the sector so tight, where the shadows of safety gang ships roam. At the next gate, he dodges a fray, outwits the gankers and tells them well played. With every new jump, he's earning his pay on the starry road where space truckers pave the way. At Cheetah Station, Jeb hangs with friends. A new contract comes in, his ship loaded again. Now the journey extends under the watchful gaze of Bob. He undocks again.
All right, we're landing, and we are going to we're gonna raid somebody. We'll see how it works out. We're gonna raid Rookie Bear, and so we'll see how it works out. Anyway, thank you everybody for being here today.